This is Mouth Media Network. Amplify and connect.
Dear Mom, I know you had high hopes for my life and for my career. I've always wanted to make you proud of me. And I've earned high marks, succeeded at athletics, met a wonderful woman, and grown my career exponentially. Now, my job is to be the announcer for this podcast. So, I am writing you to apologize. I know you had wanted more for me. Your loving son, Peter.
Hi, my name is Randi Zinn. I'm the founder of Beyond Mom, and I have an almost 8-year-old who loves to make the loudest and most terrible noises that give me pounding headaches all night long. And I would rather listen to that than be listening to funny people talking.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Funny People Talking.
Mark and Danielle have been abducted, and this is an
robots.
alien who cannot say
we're
abducted.
aliens. We're aliens, not robots. I was doing a robot.
Oh, dang it.
Okay. Hey,
guys.
If you're brand new to this show, this must be really weird for you. But if you're not brand new, then welcome back, and this is business as usual.
Yeah, this is exactly how we start every time.
Every time. Anyway, welcome to Funny People Talking, everybody. I'm one of... That was weird. Hello, I'm 12.
You were a robot.
I'm not a robot anymore.
Oh, and
I'm
I
a
was
very
an
good
alien.
android, though.
Okay.
Anyway, hey, everybody. Welcome to Funny People Talking. I am one of your hosts, Mark Rako, and directly to my... Actually, she's more at about 2:30 to my right. It is my very good friend, a very sweet person, and my co-host, Danielle Beckman.
Thank you very much. I have abducted Danielle.
Hi, Danielle.
And it is alien Danielle. Hello.
Okay, that's enough. Hi,
Okay.
Danielle.
Oh, hi.
Yay.
Sorry, I just had to come out of my alien pants.
That's right.
How are you?
Good to see you.
I'm so excited to be here.
I am, too. You know who's not here? Elsie, our producer.
I know.
She
Is
can't
she
join
off
us.
in Australia again?
I don't know what she's doing. Good day, mate.
She should bring those cheesels back.
It's right.
Those was so
That was the
good.
best
I
snack
was dying.
ever.
I could have eaten every cheesel in the bag.
I know.
I know.
Anyway,
right.
welcome to the show, everybody. I'm sorry Elsie's not here. We love you, Elsie, but I'm here. Danielle's here. You know who else is here?
Someone really cool.
Bo, bo, bo. It is our good friend and, well, my good friend and now
My
soon
new
to be
friend.
your new friend and good friend. Her name is Randi Zinn. She's the founder of something called Beyond Mom, which is a really, really cool community. She's also a podcaster. She's the host of a podcast called Going Beyond. She's an author, and she's built a really cool community about cultivating positive self-experience, about motherhood or womanhood. And she's also an entrepreneur. She owns a bunch of property in the Hudson Valley and does other things as well. She's a dynamic person, just a bundle o' energy. And
Bundle O joy.
and I happen to think she's hilarious. And so we've invited her on this show. And Randy, welcome to the show. So glad to have you here.
Yay, I'm so happy to finally be recognized for how funny I am.
Yes.
Happy,
Well, it was-
funny. Happy and funny I am.
It was one of those jokes that kind of sinks in over time. So it took several years, and then finally the joke hit, and here you are.
Yeah, I'm finally being recognized for my truth.
Who do you think thinks
Yes.
you're funnier, your husband or your kids? You're a mother of two as well.
I am a mother of two. My kids definitely think I'm funny.
That's good.
But my husband actually really recognized my humor really quickly. And he said that I'm the first woman that he ever had been with, and he's a bit older than me, that made him laugh. And it was one of the things that he
Aw.
loved most about me.
Oh, nice.
I know. It's
That
kind of
is
Some of that
so-
youth humor is always good. So,
sweet. Yeah, right.
Oh, that is so sweet.
well, anyway,
Very
Randy,
sweet.
welcome to the show.
Thank
Glad to have you
you.
here. So we're going to get to know Randy a little bit later, and I promise we won't disappoint. But we'll also be playing a brand new improv game today.
Brand spanking.
Called
new.
Get this. You ready, Danielle?
Yeah.
It's called Headline Argument.
I love a good headline. You know I come from a newspaper family, right?
I don't know that I knew that.
Yeah, my dad worked for the LA Times for almost 30 years.
Well, he's going to dig this.
Oh, yeah. I can write a great headline for you.
That's right. Oh,
I'm
bet you
ready.
can. Oh, you sound like you're from that time.
I'm selling the papes on the corner. My iPad keeps falling.
Here's a
I'm
perfect
excited.
headline for you.
iPad falls.
That's right.
That's it.
That's it. That was a
That's
short
the whole
headline.
headline.
But it really did tell the story.
Thank you. I'm excited for this one. It'll be fun. Are you excited, Randy?
I think so.
Are you slightly scared?
It'll be fun, I promise. And
It's going to be great.
My
gonna be great.
eyeballs are a little wide, but
That's-
I'm waiting.
That's okay. Well, good to see
She
the
knows how to
headlines then.
podcast because she narrates her facial features. That was good. That was really good.
I'm moving my left arm right now.
It's
My
like,
eyebrows
my
are raised.
eyes are a little wide. No, because sometimes people will come on and they'll do things and no one
And
can
it doesn't
see
translate. Yeah, I get it.
Good for you.
Thank
we
you.
Your
are.
experience.
I'm also going to be asking you about something very exciting that's been happening in your life lately, and that is the film that you've been shooting. And I actually got a chance to be on set with you for a couple hours, which was a lot of fun.
You did.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that,
Very
more about the
exciting.
film and less about my time on the set. But and then I have a quickie story about the value of giving feedback to a business, positive
Ooh.
impact that can have, and
I'm
how the karma can circle back on you a little bit.
I love
in
it.
a good way. And then, as I mentioned, we'll get to know Randy a little bit, and then it's time for end of show food. Even though Elsie isn't here, she did put some food aside for us to try a little snacky poo.
I hope it's Cheezels.
It should be interesting.
It's probably not.
I don't know if it's Cheezels or not, but I promise it's interesting. So all that's going to happen, believe it or not, and I'm so excited. But first,
Yes, Mark.
I do have a question for you, Danielle.
Mark,
I need to understand.
yeah, I'm ready.
Are you ready? Have you braced yourself?
Yes. I'm
Your
just
muscles all
trying to live
properly
my
tensed?
life.
I know.
Walk in here.
So you did walk in here.
I did.
And you were carrying a big old giant greasy turkey leg, just
Yeah.
like you'd find at the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
I love those.
Yeah.
So I want
Here, have some.
And
You want some?
well, I will say, Randy. Recently, I went to the medieval festival or whatever up at Fort Tryon Park. At the
Medieval
top of Manhattan.
Times?
No,
No.
there's a
Renaissance
medieval
Fair?
festival. It's not the Renaissance Fair.
Oh.
It's called Medieval Festival.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's in October, I guess, in September or October in Fort Tryon Park at the top of Manhattan. And I decided to get one of those turkey legs. And I will tell you that the first like 3 bites were glorious with all that caramelized,
Oh, yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and then it was just greasy.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
So, and then I was just like, so what we did is I finished what I could. Then we actually brought it home.
Ooh.
And
Are you saying that you schlepped a turkey leg throughout the entire Renaissance Festival?
well, I didn't go for
In
like
a
a
Ziploc
9 more
Coke.
hours after that. We only stayed like 45 minutes after that.
That's
And
a
then
very unappetizing
we
turkey
also
leg.
live really close to there, so I was
Oh,
a
okay.
little, yeah. And we
They live there,
we-
actually.
we
He doesn't
actually
want to tell you.
we actually made the most of that turkey leg for a number of meals in different
Good for
ways. We
you.
incorporated it into meals. It was great.
I'm not sure I think this is appetizing, I have to be honest.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Ooh, we're getting the shade.
I
Well, what do
did.
you now?
I got yelled at on one of our shows on Mouth Media because at home we make coffee once a week, and we make
Only
it
once a week?
We make it, and usually my wife drinks most of it, and I don't drink coffee at home very often except on the weekend. But I heat up a cup for her every morning from the coffee we make. So we make a full pot, and then we keep in the refrigerator, and then we heat up whatever amount you're going to do. Well, I don't know how this strikes you, but when I brought this up for whatever reason on one of our shows, I was guest hosting or something. Oh, the fury that came at me for that I was just how much I am sacrilege to the world of coffee. For
I
me.
am upset at you.
The
Are you
coffee
really?
aficionados got very angry.
Quite
Oh, yeah.
angry.
You got to
Yeah.
have the bean right falling off the tree, roasted and in your face.
I know,
Yeah.
but I don't have time.
I
to
would
make
be
coffee
concerned that
every
the
day.
coffee would get too strong and like hurt your stomach.
How is
Yeah.
Doesn't it
strong?
get? Doesn't it get
Acid.
the acid gets
How does it get-
sits and gets stronger?
Oh, as it sits, really,
And
over
it
time?
tastes horrific.
Yeah, you couldn't scorch your stomach this way.
Very interesting to know.
Okay, what's your question about my turkey leg, though?
Well, I want to know why you carried one in here and what's the deal? How you just happen to be carrying a big old greasy turkey leg?
Do you know what week it is?
No.
Well,
Well,
it's Thanksgiving.
But
Next week's.
Next
well,
week.
yeah. Well,
Well,
at the
no.
time we're recording this, or last week was Thanksgiving.
I was pretending.
I
I was
know.
trying to pretend for.
In or
for
around before or
continuity.
after this podcast has been Thanksgiving.
Listen, it's November. I'm trying out different brands. This
Of
is my
turkey?
taste test. Yeah.
It is really. So you just make a turkey
Yeah,
and then
no,
carry
you
the leg
just
around?
you grab a leg, you say, "What do I want? This is what I want."
It's great because
So that's why you saw me nibbling it on the way in.
I felt there would be a deeper, more interesting story there.
No,
but that's
I
it.
didn't go to honey baked ham though. Don't go there.
So for Christmas, do you just like carry a Christmas tree? Well, you're Jewish, aren't you? Are you Christmas?
I'm not Jewish.
I don't.
I told you I go to church. I met my fiance at church.
I want to. I want to.
I don't know if I've met anyone anymore that has met at church.
Isn't that cute?
Oh, I apologize because I don't know that I assumed you were Jewish, but for some reason I realized I brought up Christmas, and then
She's
maybe I
cute,
went in
so
the wrong
you thought
direction.
she was Jewish.
That's what it was.
Perfect. I'll take it.
And technically, my wife is half Ashkenazi Jew based on her DNA result. Everyone
Did
I
she
know is
know?
half
Did she
freaking-
know?
No, she's adopted, so she didn't know anything about her
Okay.
lineage.
Wow.
So she got her. That is so cool.
She got good news.
Yeah.
What's funny, looking at her, you would never.
No, everyone.
I've seen her
thinks
picture.
I'm-
No, you wouldn't
Everyone
think.
thinks I'm a New Jersey Jewish girl.
Yeah, you
Well,
kind of
see?
look like
And
one.
I'm from Southern California, and I'm a Christian. Like, it's crazy. I'm so the opposite of what I look like. Don't judge a book.
See, I look Ashkenazi Jewish. I did
Mm-hmm.
my ancestry
You
DNA.
look Italian.
It's true. I'm 100% basically, well, like 98% Ashkenazi Jewish.
Wow.
No
I'm
surprises.
literally 0%.
Zero.
Yeah,
Literally?
my dad is
Not
like
figuratively
my dad
zero?
is some. No, I am figuratively 0. I'm sorry. Why is that so funny?
I don't know. It's funny people.
I think my
talking.
dad is like 2%, like somewhere in there
Oh.
is Jewish
something.
How does that happen?
I don't know where I'm Italian and Viking,
Ooh.
like Scandinavian.
As you should be. There's no better combo.
I just went to Iceland, so I was like really like in the midst
This
of
is on-
Vikingness.
This is on our little roadmap right now.
It's really
Did
super
you,
cool.
Did you get an opportunity to see Northern Lights? while
I
you were there?
did.
How did that
I
happen for
did.
you?
Well, it was actually just happening as we were driving around because it
That's
has to do with
amazing.
kind of the angle that you're at and
Yeah.
the where the sun and the electrons are or something.
So cool.
Yeah, there's just it kind of did, the brightness of it is the thing.
Yeah.
Based on like the clouds and
Right.
whatever.
So you saw shimmers of it, but it wasn't like this.
It wasn't that
startling...
electric green bright exactly, but you could see it.
That
Yeah.
is so cool.
That's on my wife and I's bucket list, and it's something we're thinking about for our honeymoon, going to Iceland.
I'm going maybe on my honeymoon. Maybe
Really?
let's meet you there.
Whoa.
You want Mark
Oh, by
on your
the-
honeymoon?
No, I don't.
No.
I'm just saying that we can talk about it after.
Yes. So, yes.
you.
Fair
Great
enough.
question.
I'll
Yes,
give you
good
tips for a romantic trip to Iceland if
Yeah?
anybody wants it.
You know, we've been thinking about
It's going to be shorter.
that would be
than
great.
longer
By the
than
way,
places.
thank you. We were actually seriously thinking about they have those like little maybe not pods, but they have they have these little things that you can stay in. That
Like a yurt?
it's
Yeah.
better than that. It's like
No, but yurts are nice.
Well, it better be an insulated one because
Yeah.
it's damn cold.
it's like a really really nice place to stay, but it's your own little
Igloo?
unit, if
Hut?
you will, that has a
Unit.
Shack.
has a
Unit.
I don't know what the word is. It's
yurt.
It's not a yurt though.
Glamping?
It's,
Yeah, glam.
no, it's like
Now we're just busting you up.
what does everybody have in Hollywood? The little
An infrared sauna?
Shack.
Yes, they are infrared saunas. You totally
A
got
waterfall shower. What does everyone have in Hollywood?
it. It's like bungalow. That's what I was thinking.
A
It's like a-
I grew up in a bungalow style house.
okay, so it's almost like a little bungalow,
San Diego.
but the roof is clear. It's like glass or whatever,
So you can see the northern
the whole
lights.
sky.
Wow.
That's the idea. So anyway, so
And
we're
the
thinking
birds
about that.
that come and poop on your ceiling. Sorry.
I'm hoping there's people.
No,
that
there's like
clean
no
that.
birds.
No birds.
Seriously,
No,
the
you're
landscape
right.
is very kind of volcanic and barren.
Mm.
There's some seagulls by the ocean, but it's not
Sounds
like that.
fantastic.
Yeah.
the Blue Lagoon's amazing.
One of my
Go
dear
there.
friends has gone to Iceland now 4 times, only within the last 2 years. And she won a contest to do a cleanup of, they pay for everything for you to clean up the countryside of one of these remote islands. And she won and did like cleaning up. But you get a free week to stay, but like it's kind of like you're
You've
working
won
on
a
the
chance
land.
to clean up some shit.
But
on
like
an
you're working on the
island.
land
Wow,
and
that
with sheep,
sounds
but like
romantic
you
to
get
me.
they put you up in a really nice place and you get to do other things. And
Yeah, you get to
Okay.
go.
it's
sit
like a
in your
volunteer
yurt.
thing, but they pay
Okay.
all expenses paid, and she won.
That's kind of
So
cool.
and she's been like 4 times.
Did she get to go in an infrared sauna?
No, they don't have those there. They only have them in Hollywood.
They only have that like hot springs or whatever, right?
Yeah, she got a yurt.
Okay.
Is it time for my nerd tip?
It's time for
Just the tip. Nerd tip.
a nerd
Just
tip.
the tip.
Okay.
So this is actually a fun little nerd fact. Are you either of you Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans?
Never seen it.
Did you ever watch Buffy?
I liked the movie with Luke Perry.
Oh, R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Well, you guys obviously know who Sarah Michelle Gellar is, right?
Obviously.
Okay. Do you remember who the actress was who played Cordelia? Like her sidekick best friend?
Seeing as I've never seen it,
Okay.
no.
But you know who Sarah Michelle Gellar is?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember the actress? Okay. This is what's crazy. And this is how life is. Okay. So when Sarah Michelle Gellar originally auditioned for Buffy, she was trying out for the role of Cordelia,
Ah.
not Buffy. And Charisma Carpenter, that's the actress's name.
Charisma.
She ended up playing Cordelia. She originally auditioned for Buffy, and the producers liked each actress but had them switch roles.
That happens a lot. Like I think Monica and Rachel on Friends, the same thing happened.
Right, but with them, both of their names are household names. In this case, only Sarah Michelle Gellar is widely known, and who's like Charisma Carpenter. Oh, maybe I would have remembered that. Anyway, I loved Buffy growing up. Back then, I don't think it was nerdy, but I guess vampires fall under the nerd category, so that's why I brought it in. But like, how crazy is that? That like you can go in and be for the title role, and they're like, we're just gonna bump you over here,
Right.
and we're gonna bump you, sweetie, over here, and then your life has changed.
Yeah,
That's it.
It's like a sliding door moment.
It really is. It really is. So you know what? I'm glad that Sarah got it. Good for her.
On the other hand, I'd like to point out that Clay Aiken is a bigger star than Ruben Studdard, even though he came in second. So
We've actually talked about that on the
yeah.
show.
I only have like 3 stories, and that's one of them. So
Yeah, you do. You got to save the rest.
okay, sorry. All right, so
Well, it's talking about karma. My goodness.
I
Okay.
know. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
I've got a suggestion.
What?
Maybe we should start the show.
Mark.
Yeah.
Can you start the show?
I will.
Thank you.
I've been waiting.
From the Mouth Media Network studios in New York City, and from the same people who brought you Monkey Radio with Mark, this is Funny People Talking with Mark Rako, Danielle Beckman, and Elsie.
It is Funny People Talking, everybody. I am Mark Rako. That's Danielle Beckman.
Hey.
That's Randi Zinn. And here we go. Before we get started, a quick piece of housekeeping. Our appeal.
Tina Fey.
Our appeal, our prayer to Tina Fey. One of our goals on this show, Randy, is to have the great and powerful Tina Fey make an appearance on the show. Send us a postcard, do a drive-by, send a telephone call, send us a pizza. I don't care what it is.
I was going to say send us a pizza, too.
That's what we are of like mind
Maybe she
today.
will send us
Can
a
you imagine?
pizza.
Wouldn't that be the goals? So anyway, it stems from the fact that I came so close to working with her a few times and it just never quite worked out. And so
you're manifesting.
We're just manifesting,
Yes.
putting out to the universe every single show.
Okay.
So we're going to pray. You're welcome to join in. Don't feel any pressure to do it, to the comedy gods and put it out to the universe. So I'll start off. Tina Fey,
Tina.
please
want
come
you
on
to
the show,
come,
Tina Fey.
Tina.
We appeal to you, comedy
Tina,
guys.
just
Please
walk
bring
on
Tina
in.
Fey, deliver her
Come
to
up
our doorstep.
the elevator.
We will be the
We'll see you
bestest,
soon.
bestest, most
We
respectful
want you
people
here.
ever. We love you so much.
Goodbye, Tina.
Amen.
Amen.
We
Thank
love you, Tina.
Yay.
Yay, that was good.
Thank you.
felt
Okay, so we're going to talk
Big Randy
about your
things
movie.
We're nuts. Oh,
But
hi.
before we do,
Okay.
I just want to get my quickie story out of the way so we can spend the rest of the time talking about you.
Your cool story?
Well, I just wanted to mention that I had a couple of lessons recently in positive, I'm not going to call it karma because I don't think that's right, but the impact of speaking up about experiences you have with a business. I believe
Ooh.
very much that a business has value from feedback about experiences you have that aren't great. And I think if you do it in a positive way and you make sure you voice that feedback, the worst that can happen is that you make that business better. And if you want to come back, one thing I truly believe is that when a customer complains and they don't do it in a horrible way, what they're telling you is I still want to do business with you and I want the business to be better. If they would just complain, I mean, they would just leave or destroy something if they didn't want to do business with you anymore. That's what I believe anyway.
That's cool.
So
I agree.
I had 2 instances recently that reminded me why this is so valuable. One was my wife and I went to see a movie, and there was a mother with her baby in the movie, like a toddler, like probably like 2 years old max. And it was, by the way, the movie was
Terminator?
No, but it was like close enough. No, it was what's the one? Angelina Jolie. It's a Disney.
Lara Croft.
No, it's a new movie. Sleeping Beauty. The Sleeping Beauty. Maleficent 2, right? So this this mother brought.
I didn't know there was a 2.
Mother brought, my wife wanted to see it, so we went and saw it, and it's fine. But the mother brought this little kid in, and the kid was not engaged with the movie. A child should not be in this movie.
No,
it's
fail.
It's very violent. Right?
Yeah, fail.
Woof.
Okay, but the child was so noisy through the movie.
Ugh.
Not only did the mother not contain the child, not only did the mother not leave, realizing we were all being disturbed, but the solution was to give her child a phone to play with, which allowed all of us to have this bright light shining
Oh my
around.
heavens.
So when we left the theater, I
Nightmare.
went up to a concessions person who then pointed me to the counter to talk to a manager or whatever. And basically we weren't being jerks about it. We were like, we want to know what we do in a situation like this.
Right.
Because there were no ushers that came through. And we found out that this was...
And you didn't come to the movies with a BB gun.
Yes. I love Randy. So the thing...
My bad.
Well, here's the thing. Here was the interesting thing to me. Their answer
As
was...
a parent, I feel I can say this.
They can't afford to do ushers anymore, so they don't have ushers
Right.
Yeah.
during the movie. And I understand that, okay? But what they said is in order to get any help, we have to get up and leave the movie to go get someone to have them come in.
Yeah.
And although I understand, I guess that's the default solution. I'm like, why should I miss part of the movie? And by the way, I'd like to point out the tickets were like $16 or $17.
They usually
a
are.
piece.
Oh, yeah.
Nowadays.
Okay. And so I'm not going to go leave the movie for what will ultimately be like 5 minutes as I make my way out, talk to the person, come back and miss it. So they can come in and take care of someone who may or may not get kicked out of the movie. Okay. They're probably not going to come and go, you have to leave. They're going to go, just keep your baby quiet, would you? Right. That's what's going to happen the first time.
Yeah.
So I said to the person, I said, I appreciate where you're coming from. Long story short, I basically said, that's an unsatisfactory answer to me. I said it in the nicest way I could. I said, I'm sorry your system set up this there, but why do I have to suffer, blah, blah, blah. What ultimately happened, and we didn't ask for this, is they gave us 2 free passes to come back to another movie. Right thing to do. The wrong thing to do was to tell me that it was my responsibility to take care of it.
Ooh.
So if I had not said something, though, all that would have happened is we would have had a nice movie experience that was mildly destroyed. I know like first world problems here, but from this inconsiderate person who I'm sure mom needed a day out. I get that totally.
Oof.
But there's different choices she could have made too.
May I just
Please.
interject on
You
this?
most certainly can.
Mom's night out is not going to see a violent movie with my 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Amen, sister.
That's just weird
I know.
and a disturbance to everyone. And a 2-year-old shouldn't be seeing a violent film. And
The behavior
and
well, the
it's just
behavior
weird.
of the mom was already weird.
It was already weird. So of course your experience is weird.
Yep.
You guys didn't get free popcorn coupons?
Nope. But we got 2
Boo.
movie passes. Okay. So the second thing that happened
Ugh.
was I had gone to Whole Foods recently, and the person that helped me in the register, didn't help me. Basically, I was asking questions and they were just so clueless about it. It wasn't even like, I'm so sorry, I don't know, let me find out. It was kind of like, I don't know, like I was very, so I went to the customer service desk. I was busy. I don't have time to do this, but I went and I said, listen, I'm not complaining. I'm not asking you to do anything about it with me. I just wanted to tell you I had this experience. How else are you going to know what's happening, right? So I was giving her feedback about one of the employees. Turns out they have had other similar issues with her, and it was useful to know, and they were going to try to do some more training. but for my trouble, they gave me a gift card.
Wow.
Which was
That's
a
nice.
great move, turned a negative experience or a mildly negative experience into a positive experience, but I was rewarded again.
Wow.
And then I recently this is semi-related, but I recently went to Whole Foods again. I was so in the mood for apple pie. I cannot tell you. It
my
was like
God,
I
that
was
sounds
pregnant and I
amazing.
needed an
I
apple
could
pie.
so eat apple pies. Apple pie coming at the end of the show, Mark. Please tell me it is.
Gluten free
God, I
apple
wish
pie?
it was. I can give you a cookie though.
exists.
I can
I
give you a
know.
cookie. But
Fine, I'm gonna
so-
survive.
So
I know.
I'll just sit here and starve.
Whole Foods apparently did not have small anything except a full-size pie. I was like, that's how bad I want apple pie. I'm buying a full-size apple pie. I'm going to get a fork. I'm going to eat as much of it as I can eat, and then put it in the fridge and I'll bring it home. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I was fully prepared to walk through the street with a fork, eating my apple pie on the street. I
Yes.
swear to you. The line was so long. I'm telling you, I waited about 15 minutes and we barely had moved. And finally I was like, I already feel guilty enough. I'm going to eat a whole apple pie. I can't wait 45 minutes to do this. This is like an addiction or something. So I put the pie back. The pie was probably about like $13 or something, right?
I'm
So
amazed you didn't start eating the
put-
pie online.
if I had, I would have been so committed. I would have had to stay in
You
line.
had
Yeah.
to
I would have just like handed money to the person in front of me and saying, look, could you pay for my pie when you get up there? But anyway, so what happened was I put the pie back and I was so proud of myself walking out. I'm like, I bypassed the pie, but I still want apple pie. So next to Whole Foods near here, as I'm sure you know, Randy, is like a Whole Foods Junior. It's like a
There's two, though.
mini version of it that you walk
mini
in
mart.
and they have just like sandwiches and coffee and pastries and a few
So
things
expensive,
here.
though.
It is. But
Oof.
but what I did is I walked in and I went to the pastry session. They had some sort of apple turnover or something,
Oh.
close enough to apple pie to satisfy me. It was the right portion that I probably should be eating, and only like $2. And I went up to the person at the counter and said, I have to say that their inability to manage the flow of people through there not only cost them money, and they had a loss, I'm sure they'll survive, but actually I got more of what I wanted in the end anyway
Right.
through their failure. So there's not really a point to this.
And they gave it to you for free. No, just kidding.
Well,
That would have been the
I
cherry
used
on
my
top.
Whole Foods gift card to pay for it.
Yes.
Oh my God. Well,
You
basically,
did.
you just described what it feels like to be pregnant, Mark. That level of craving and commitment. Level of craving and commitment that you will go to multiple places, all for that moment of satisfaction.
What is the most you
good.
stretched things to accommodate a craving while you were pregnant?
Oh.
Yeah, do you have
What
a
is the
moment
most
that you
lengths
remember?
you went through or you had your husband go through?
I don't know. I mean, my cravings with both my pregnancies were really different.
Okay.
With my son, I wanted like bacon and milkshakes and ice cream
Okay.
and BLTs. So I just ate a lot of that. And luckily, all of that is pretty accessible in New York City.
Yeah.
And with my daughter, I craved lox.
Interesting.
Yeah, like a lot of smoked salmon. And luckily,
Wow.
I lived around the corner from Le Pen Quotidien, where I
Oh.
really like their smoked salmon.
So good.
I literally ate it every day. So I really didn't have to stretch too far for what I wanted.
Did you
That's amazing.
by the way, I genuinely truly believe that cravings 90% of the time come from our body's way of interpreting what it needs. I really believe the body knows that the last time I ate this, it gave me these nutrients. I need those nutrients
Yep.
again. Here's the
The
way
body
you get it.
knows.
Yeah,
I
it
really
does.
think
Except if it's a milkshake.
Or
That's
Twizzlers
not
or
Well, you might
something.
need
That's an
calcium.
addiction.
You might need calcium.
Yeah, but it's a sugar probably.
Yeah,
At that
probably.
point, it's probably sugar, but you are right.
Yeah.
If it's like, oh, I could go for a
Wow.
glass of milk right now.
Yeah.
You ever send your husband out in the middle of the night for something?
Only stuff for our kids if they were sick.
Okay.
But not
Yeah.
during
Not for a
pregnancy.
craving.
No.
There was no pickles and ice cream at 2 a.m. kind of thing.
No, but I was definitely abnormally hungry, and so I would like do the like mouse creeping in the kitchen thing in the middle of the night and
Oh.
just like eat graham crackers and eat cereal and that kind of thing.
I'm pregnant. I can do it. I'm allowed.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
So it's for
Yeah.
the baby.
it's the calling.
That's right.
You're allowed. For sure.
Okay, so I'm done with my little story. So I would like to turn the mic over to Ms. Danielle Beckman.
Hi.
Danielle, as you may know, if you've listened to any of the other episodes of the show, a big part of Danielle's life recently is she has been executive producing, and starring in a show called
My movie.
a movie. Well, they
Short
call it a
film.
show, a
Short
gig.
film. It could be a
Your
show.
joint, called Liza Anonymous. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And did you just wrap shooting, principal shooting?
We just wrapped. I literally am beaming ear to ear because
I
it
know.
was. Well, what do you want to know, Mark?
I want to know everything, and I got an opportunity to spend a couple hours on set with you as a background actor, just
Yes.
to sort of pitch in and get a chance to watch you work. Because weirdly enough, even though I've acted professionally and Danielle acts professionally, and we do this show, and we've known each other for a number of years now, we've never acted together.
Well, no, not anymore. Now we can say we have.
That's true. We have.
Hey.
Yay!
Seriously, that and Mark, I'm so glad that you got to come on set.
Oh, it was fun.
And I hope it was seamless and painless and great.
It was fun. So tell me about, and what a great, seriously, I'm not just saying this like ooh and ah, what a big crew and a pro crew.
Yeah.
And you guys were really doing it. This was not like some sort of like weekender garage band, indie film shoot. This was legit.
This was legit.
And so,
yeah.
Can you just sort of fill us in quickly about what it is? And then I really want to spend most of the time talking about your experience doing the actual shooting.
Absolutely.
Tell us about the film quickly.
Okay.
And then about the experience.
I'll give the log line to Randy and our listeners. So Liza Anonymous, it's a short film. It's like a concept short. It's going to be probably about 13 minutes. And the idea is that we would love it to become a series or a feature. And my dear friend Leah McKendrick is a screenwriter in LA, and she wrote it for me. And the logline is a lonely millennial, my character, becomes addicted to support groups, and she creates a different persona to fit in with each group. Her charade crumbles, and she's forced to get to the root of her unique addiction and find her true identity. So essentially, I'm there on set getting in and out of hair and makeup multiple times a day to play these different characters. And my character Liza, the movie is Liza Anonymous, and it's kind of meant to sound like Lies Anonymous. Ooh, another layer.
Got it.
She's lying, but one of the people in her support groups finds her out, follows her, and busts her and goes to out her in one of her groups. And she has to come clean, and there's redemption at the end, essentially. And it's really sweet and really real, but it also addresses like how community is important and mental health is important and accountability is important, but it is definitely a comedy. It is a dark comedy. But she wrote this for me back in February. The concept for it happened a year ago. It was like November of last year. And then I started to actually go full force with it and search for directors, I'd say like 6 months ago. And from that time when I thought, you know what, I'm going to make this, I'm going to do this, I was the executive producer. I had every intention. I said, I want this set to be joyful. I want everyone on set to have fun. I want everyone on set to feel peace. I had like all these things talking about manifesting. Had all these things in mind of what I wanted. And I'm sitting here now, we wrapped 2 days ago. And I am just like, I'm just smiling from ear to ear because it was everything I wanted. And it was the best experience of my professional career, to be honest.
That's amazing.
It was, thank you.
You really are smiling ear to ear.
I really am. It was just, it was everything and more. And I think too, what was exciting is that our cast and our director and our crew, by the way, the assistant director, the DP, the director, our line producer, and our executive producer, all women, by the way.
Boom.
Just saying.
Important.
Okay. And our assistant camera, one day was a guy, but the second day was a girl. Like, we had so many women at the helm of this thing, which I just absolutely loved. And did you have a question?
I'm sorry. I was just going to say that is such a trend that I'm starting to see, or that I'm sure a lot of people are seeing.
And I hope it's not a trend anymore. I hope it's just a thing.
No, but I mean that it's starting to be where it's not just like there are more women involved. I'm talking about initiatives that are all women at the helm.
Yeah.
Another case in point, there's a major commerce conference called Shop Talk. It's one of the biggest ones that's out there. This year, every speaker is a woman. Every keynote speaker is a woman.
So good.
On purpose. It's a statement.
Well, and
you know what I
that's,
mean? And that's incredible.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. I think the key words there are on purpose.
Yes.
Because for me, I mean, obviously the writer is a woman, the lead star is a woman, the executive producer is a woman. Okay. But then when I got my directors, I went to a man, I optioned it out to different directors. And the one who saw my vision the most was this woman, Aubrey Smith. And gosh.
Who was lovely, by the way.
I'm so glad you loved her.
It took me a while to realize she was even the director because she was so personable. Not that directors aren't personal, but I'm saying all of a sudden I realized I'm like, oh, that's the director. Because I honestly thought she was just like the I don't know, the first assistant director or something, because the way she was interacting was so peer like, as opposed to like, okay, I'm running the set, you know what I mean? But she was very capably doing that as well.
Yes, she
so
was.
It was very nice.
Yeah,
And by the way, I didn't get a chance to tell you.
Yeah.
Do you know who I think she looks exactly like?
Who? Nicole Kidman. That's Elsie's favorite actor.
Do you know what's really funny? I said that to Elsie, and that was I mentioned this, and she said that's exactly what she said was Nicole
Kidman.
Dakota Fanning.
Oh yeah,
She
definitely.
really looks like her.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Anyway,
I could totally see that. Well, what's so great about Aubrey, and Aubrey, I'm going to be sending you this episode, hilarious. But what's so great about her is that she's done a lot of commercials, and she has such an eye for style and like popping things out. So like each support group room had a different color aesthetic. So literally, if background actors came with a certain color in a certain room, she's like, no, they can't wear that. They can only wear this. Like, nope, they have to wear leather. Nope, they have to nope, this scene, they have to only wear like orange and black and cream. They can't. So like the aesthetic of each room is going to pop.
Plum.
He wore a plum color. Mark also had
It was in the described list of colors you could wear, by the way.
He had
You didn't just come up with the color plum.
He had a cup full of nuts.
I did.
And we had a circular track around my character for each of the groups. So I had to say a timed line with a circular dolly track going around me. And every time Mark's character had to pop an almond in his mouth and look interested. And we looked down. I said, do you have enough nuts in there? He said, yeah, I have about 16 nuts. He's like, oh, that'll be fine. I was like, Mark, we've been doing like 14 or more takes. So make sure you have enough nuts. And then we got the perfect take on his last nut.
We did. My last
Mark's last nut was the perfect
It was literally,
take.
I was like, I'm out of nuts. They're like, no, we got it.
We got it.
It was fun. Because I had to eat 2 nuts per take.
It was so good.
I got one the camera would pass by her and it would be aimed at me and I would pop a nut.
Another nut.
And then
what kind of nut was it?
Almonds, just almonds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Beer nuts, I think, by the way, which was ironic.
Which is ironic because it was AA. That's the group that Mark was in.
I was going to ask what group you were
But
in,
anyway, it was just the everything about it. And the one moment that I'll highlight that I think was so hilarious. Well, just lovely.
I was going to ask you what the funniest moment of the whole thing was.
Well,
but I'm sorry if that's a different thing.
No. I mean, there were a bunch of funny moments, but this one moment that was captured at the very end. So we had to go into overtime 2 days. So we went 11:30 a.m. to 1 a.m. the first day, and then we went 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. the last day.
Was your whole crew on the clock?
Oh,
except for Timothy?
Oh yeah, no, most of the crew, everyone was union. Yeah, so we have to pay overtime and stuff like that.
No, but I didn't know if everyone was on the clock, if all of your crew was paid.
No. Yeah, a bunch of us are not taking fees. Okay. Yeah, but most of the people there were our pros, so we were like, okay, well, we have to pay.
No, of course.
But yeah, we were trying to do as low budget as possible. But our very last scene, I went from a very neutral look to having to go back into my most drastic look with the big red lips and hair and hoop earring and like this whole
sort of a gypsy look,
like
right?
Big colored eyebrows, like intense. And then not only that, it was outside at 27 degrees.
I love that.
For, of course, the martini shot, which is the last shot that they do in the movie. It was the very last shot. And I have to cry in it, of course. So I was like, here we are. It's the end. Everyone wants to go home. We're outside. It's freezing. I have to cry. Like, here we go. And we did it. And one of the best moments for me. Oh yeah, that's my look.
Wow.
Yeah. I could show you a couple more looks too. But the very last moment, I went back inside to reset because they were like, okay, cut. And then I was like, okay. And I was getting back inside to reset. And I hear, I think we got it. And then I popped back out and they were like, okay, are we good? And then it was like, that's a wrap on Liza Anonymous. And I ran down. Me, the assistant director, the DP, and the director, all four of us were like group huddling, right? Okay, you got these four girls huddling. And then after like 5 seconds, we all started jumping up and down like, yay, like giddy girls.
Yeah.
And I was like, if this was 4 guys, this would never happen. And Timothy has it all on video. And we're like, yay, we did it. And like, of course, everyone's in overtime. But at this point, it was like no one cared because everyone was so excited that we got the movie in the can, that we did it. Like everyone was so thrilled to be a part of it.
It's a great moment for you.
It was so wonderful. And after that, I was getting feedback. The costume designer texted me like, that was the most fun and peaceful set I've ever been on professionally. Background actors messaging saying, that was my first movie I've ever done. And I hope every set is like this. That was the best experience I've ever had. Just like overall, so much good feedback. And I'm so excited for what's to come with it.
It's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, I think the culture of anything comes from its leader.
It does.
And it was your
vision.
vision.
It really trickles down. And the energy, right? Like the fact that the core group of us got to set the tone, it spread throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And like even during our lunch on the first day, it was like 5:30 p.m. because we started later. And I made a little speech. I was like, hi, some of you don't know me, but I'm the executive producer and this was written for me and it's like a part of my heart. And I just want to thank you for like coming on and like you're each going to be invited to our showing party and like you're a part of this family now, whether I know your name or not. Huh?
When did this happen?
Oh, the first day you went there.
Oh, gotcha.
I know.
So, gotcha. Yeah, because I don't remember that. No,
I don't remember
I
that.
was just kidding.
Anyway, so
That's
guys,
great.
go
Good job.
online. If you're listening, you can still go to lizaanonymousfilm.com. Check it out. You can see bios, actors, all that kind of stuff.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you. Randy, have you ever worked on
a set at all?
TV or film sets or anything?
No. I mean, I grew up in theater and dance and musical theater.
Same.
And so very much in that world, but it never translated into, being on a TV or I would say a movie. I've been on TV for interviews, when it's come to like my book. And
so let me offer you a suggestion as a cool thing to do, especially because since you run your own business, as busy as you are, you do have some control over your schedule to be able to do this.
Yeah.
I know you have kids and everything, but see if you got say a girlfriend or whatever that would do this with you and can do this with you, and sign up for a casting agency like Grant Wilfley Casting or something that does background actors, and get in their system so that when they have a call for background and you fit those criteria, you can get called and you make like $75 or whatever for the day.
And you just go on
feed you
a day and you get to like meet stars and like watch people.
It is such an interesting and
cool.
fun experience to be a part of a very high-end production, big network or film production. Watch the mechanisms happening, be a part of the scene in a way, get to sort of learn what's happening. Sometimes you get this amazing food that they serve. It's fun. Sometimes they put makeup on you, or it's so you never know what you're going to end up with.
Yeah.
And you never know what star you're going to work with. It's just really a cool experience.
If it's Brad Pitt, I might jump his bones.
Well,
I'm just saying.
We'll look for every Brad Pitt movie and get on the background on one of his movies.
It's been my fantasy forever.
Well, take action, lady.
I'm gonna sign up.
But seriously, it'd be such a fun, different, day out, like change of pace.
No, totally, I get it. There's so
know?
much going on. You get to just kind of be part of it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I have a secret to tell you. I don't know if you feel this way yourself, Danielle, but I know my wife is the same way. That every time I walk by like a film set or TV set, like where they're shooting on the street and there's like the trailers and stuff like that, I get so angry. I get so jealous that I'm not a part of that.
I feel the same.
Because I've done enough of them.
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm so mad. That
You're like, I don't feel mad. I just go, oh,
disappointed.
why isn't that my trailer?
Yeah.
No, but now I'm not disappointed. Now I'm going, I just made my own trailer. And here we
There
go.
you go.
Boom.
Well, so that's the key. That's a great attitude.
And I'm, you never know. But I understand.
I usually cry when I see Broadway shows for that same reason. Not so much jealousy, but
like a longing.
A longing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like this part of me that just so loves the theater and the passion, and I can feel it emanating from the actors. And
especially when it's like a big number.
Yes,
or something.
and I just get like brought to tears in the end when they're all
Me
like
too.
singing and the jazz hands and like whatever's going on, and I just
The jazz hand's always good for me
and I
too.
just feel all the emotion.
That happens for me
agree.
also.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah.
the same thing. It's like, because as I'm sure you have, I've been there for those moments. Maybe not literally on Broadway,
Yeah.
but in nice
Yeah.
productions.
Yeah.
I've been there in those moments.
And you know what it
I know how
feels like.
amazing they are.
Yeah.
I know they are having that moment. I'm not in it.
I
But
love the bonding of the cast.
It's cool.
Too.
I know.
Oh my
That's
God.
something that I've actually really missed, because when I first moved here for the first 5 years, I did tons of theater.
Isn't
And
it?
then now
sorry, I
I
didn't
do
mean to
only,
interrupt
no, I was just going to say,
No, me too.
I feel like having this moment with the cast and the crew was really nice to be like, oh, I'm a part of this again.
It's such an interesting, I did probably about 50 theater productions, and most of them as a lead role. I don't mean that like I'm so awesome, but I'm saying where I was really involved with it through a great deal, right? And then when I moved to New York about 12 years ago, since I've been in New York, I've only done 3 shows
Wow.
by design. I mean, like I haven't been like going out for them, and I miss. It's an interesting cycle it is to meet some people you may know, but you meet a whole bunch of new people. You go through this process over, say, 6 weeks or 8 weeks, as you learn this show together. You become this little family.
Yeah.
You go through this very unique experience that builds and builds, and you get better and better, and you finally perfect it, and you get to that last moment, and it's over. You don't see each other anymore.
Yeah, I get that.
Weird.
It is weird. Except, is there an echo? But also there are, I have friends from shows that I've stayed close with. So, you can meet some of your closest friends from.
I've had experiences like this in other settings, though. As a writer, I've taken a lot of writing classes, and sometimes they're like the random ones through Gotham Writers Workshops or whatever, and I'll do memoir writing or something like that. And you have this crew that's together for a class for like a few months, and everyone's bearing their soul, and like really opening up about personal things, and either you just disappear from each other's lives, but it's weird. And I mean, everyone thinks New York is such like a big city, but it's really not. I have bumped into and stayed in contact with / been in totally other communities now with people who were in some of those classes I took years ago.
Crazy.
Yeah, some of which are also published authors, and we've like gone to each other's book things, and it's very exciting and cool. But the point is there is this insular bonding thing that happens when you're kind of in this really personal experience together.
Totally.
And it is kind of awesome. I was talking about this with my husband recently because my son is a basketball player, so he's like very much a team sport kid, and our daughter is like more like me, like gymnast, dancer, whatever. And he was saying, I think I want her to have the team sport thing, and I was like, yeah, I never played team sports, but I had a cast, or I had it's like you learn a lot of the same lessons.
Totally.
And that connection and that working together and supporting one another and all of that stuff that happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's a
I
very
love
good
that.
parallel.
Well, it's the
I
same
love it.
kind of thing with like in college, like there were a couple sororities that really wanted me to be in their sorority. And I was like, no, like I am a theater major.
You're in
I'm
your
good.
own sorority.
Like I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm already busy. I'm a freshman and I roll up to school busy already.
right.
I don't
Phi
need a sorority.
Delta Geek.
Yeah, that's right. No, it was Gamma Phi Beta really wanted
okay.
me. They dirty rushed me the night before. They came to my dorm and they were like, if you come to bids tomorrow, you're in. Where everyone else had to like.
You
go
just said
through
a bunch
thing.
of words that I have no idea what they mean.
I know.
I went
That's
to a school
how
with
cool
no
I am.
sororities. Dirty rush? I don't want to talk about what that
dirty
means.
rushing means
Sounds like a good
you know
drink, though, doesn't
you
it?
know Rush Week. like Rush Week.
Yeah, where they make you do weird shit.
Yeah.
Like,
So Dirty Rush essentially means you don't have to go through Rush Week because they know they want you in the sorority. So it's like, you don't need to try out. Like, we want you in. So they literally came and threw rocks at my window and they were like, Beckman, come down. And I was like, what? And they were like, we want you in Gamma Phi Beta. Like, you're in. You don't have to go through Rush Week. We know you're busy. And I was like, no, son. I don't want to. I was like, I can't. I'm too busy with The Tempest. Like, I'm doing shows. And I was like, I am so cool right now. I just said no to 2 seniors.
That's right.
It was awesome.
With the Tempest,
However,
yeah.
there are still seats left if you want to get tickets.
Yes, there are. $20 with your student ID. I played a drunk. I played Stefano, the drunk
There you
butler.
go.
I never played traditional.
Shocker.
roles. I was always a man. Hi.
So let's play an
Shocker.
improv
Get
game,
outta
shall
here.
we? And then we can.
We already have been. Let's keep
I know,
going.
right? Crazy. So
I'm
our
ready.
improv game is called Headline Argument. And the idea, the premise of this, I think you'll love this, is that 2 people have an argument, and we'll figure out what that argument is. The situation is. And
I'm sorry. Is that your apple turnover?
no.
There's a Whole Foods bag
I know.
right there. I'm so sorry.
I know. There's cookies in there. Do you want a cookie?
Cookies. Okay. No, I'm okay. I'm so
Okay.
sorry, everyone.
So that's okay. Show screech halt. And so the idea of the game is Randy's just dying over there. The idea of the game is that the argument, the only thing that people say, is in headline form. So everything you say has to be as if it is a headline, like in a newspaper. So you say something, the other person says something, everything's headlines.
Okay.
So you're still having an argument. So Danielle and I will.
We'll do like a situation.
We'll demonstrate as if we played the game before, but we'll demonstrate just because we do improv more often, and then we'll do one that involves you as well.
Oh God, I'm sweating. Okay.
What we would love
We'll
is
go
if
first.
you
You're
could,
fine.
if you could give us a situation in which 2 people might be arguing. Could be anything.
Or maybe how about a relationship? Like
Okay,
who we are to each other.
what's our relationship that might involve arguing?
Brother and sister.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then what are we arguing about?
Yeah, what are we arguing about?
Do you have anything that comes to mind?
You're arguing over a necklace that belongs to your mother that just died.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
this is sad.
Okay, here we go.
Have you heard the name of the show, Randy?
I know, sorry.
But you just said it. You are comfortable in the realm of dark humor.
Here we go.
I am.
All right, here we go.
Feeling it.
Mother dies, leaves son necklace.
Son lies to family. Shame on you.
Sister not real. Turns out adopted.
Sister murders brother in cold blood. Gets away with it. Takes necklace.
Secrets revealed. Brother hid necklace in safe. War fake.
What? More fake.
Sister steals fake necklace.
This just in. Sister knows the code. To safe.
How long does this go for?
long as
Until
we
it's not
want.
funny anymore.
Okay.
She's like, it's done.
It's over. No,
It's done. It's done. Breaking news. Murder in cold blood happened with the Peterson family. Done.
Sister reveals actually second son.
What? Mark, this one is questionable.
I don't know. I don't know why you're not getting my jokes.
I didn't get that one.
Sister
reveals.
Sister
what?
We're
We're workshopping this. Wait.
Detectives discover sister really a man.
Oh, great. I'm not going to say the next headline. It's too dark.
And scene.
And scene. That I don't know how that worked. Maybe we need to
I thought
try
it worked
again.
well. I'm not sure.
I
how
was
you
laughing
did.
for the
Let's
first
try
handful of
a
them.
relationship between me and Randy.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh God.
You are you can pick your role. You are a customer and a cashier.
Okay.
And the situation is that the
I'll be the customer.
The cashier thinks that the customer shoplifted something.
I'll be the customer.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Newsflash, that ain't free.
This just in. What? Exclamation question, exclamation question, exclamation question.
Heads up. This register needs money put into it when you leave store.
You talking to me?
I work here, guess what?
Sorry, interjection.
headline.
This sounds more like broken English than
No, but these are headlines.
These are headlines, Mark.
Okay.
Give her a chance. She's just shopping.
Heads up. This store has a nonprofit, but this transaction is not associated.
That was a byline.
Just kidding. Can we start again?
Yes.
No, let's do a new scenario.
Yeah, let's
Any
do a
scenario?
scenario.
No, I like that though. You did good. That was good.
Yeah, that was good. Good
That was
start.
good. Let's
Okay,
do a different scenario for
Okay, you
Okay.
two are flight attendant and passenger,
fun. Okay, who do you want to be?
Passenger.
Okay.
and you are arguing over you want more peanuts.
Okay.
And the flight attendant won't give them.
JetBlue bans peanuts.
JetBlue prices are rising.
Ma'am, you look unhappy.
With prices rising, airlines must provide more service to their clients.
JetBlue providing great service to clients.
My favorite part of this is that you guys are writing the headlines in the air. Like,
You did the same thing, Mark.
I know.
Yes, you did. Also, I'm pouring coffee. For
Guess
my-
what?
I'm not making fun of you. I think
I'm
it's
pouring
funny.
coffee.
Airlines improving the quality of their snacks, leaving behind peanuts and heading towards Norwegian swaffles.
Customers very happy. What's the problem?
Customers are apparently becoming more hungry with more and more delays on the tarmac.
Not my problem, says the flight attendant.
And scene.
Oh my god. This
Game fails.
game fails.
Podcast never plays it again.
Mark Rako to never show his face on radio again. Oh wait, that's fine.
No, it was a good
you don't
premise.
ever show your face
You were
on
very
radio
excited
anyway.
about the premise.
I
in the
actually
beginning.
really liked it.
I really like the
It
game.
was fun.
There's
We
going to be
figured it
some
out.
fine
We gotta
tweaking.
figure
We
it
have
out.
to just.
But that was a joke about showing your face on radio.
It
Do
was.
you get it?
I
Okay.
do. I got it.
We got that.
Okay.
It was.
We get it, Danielle.
It was just got lost in the horrible telling of the joke, but it was.
Well, I think it's time for a break, Mark. Is it time?
I actually think I did really well at the game.
I think you did very well.
I
was
took
really
the
impressed.
headlines and I made them about like bigger picture issues than just my peanuts.
You
did.
really did, and
Really.
I'm proud
You went.
of that, actually.
Thank you.
You were.
That was legit.
above and you were beyond. See, that pertains to the
You
name.
were
of
Bed Bath and
I
Beyond.
was
You were
Bed Bath &
beyond
Beyond.
improv.
Yes. Thank you.
You were beyond
Well done.
mom.
No, you
proud.
did a really good job, Randy. Really.
Thank you.
So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna pull ourselves together, and then we're gonna talk about Randi Zinn, and that's it.
the
Right
best
after this.
improver ever.
Yes.
Tina Fey. 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 Fey, comma, Tina. Tina Fey. Tina Fey. Tina Fey. Tina Fey. This is Funny People Talking.
So, Randy, this segment is all about you.
Well, dare I say finally?
You're a lot of things. You're a mom, you're an author, you're a podcaster, which means you're a media personality.
Yes.
You're a community builder. You are a thought leader. You're also an entrepreneur. You're just and a wife of, obviously, you're so many things. But if you find where all of those things connect, have you ever thought about where that through line is for you?
How all these things connect for me in my life.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, I really don't want to sound cheesy when I say this.
It's okay.
But I really feel like I follow my flow. And I think
What does that mean?
It's like, it's an instinct, right? I mean, it's a feeling for like
You
showing
just go
up.
where you feel like you should be?
Yeah, I think I follow that first and then I really think it through because there's been a lot of opportunities that have come my way or things I could have pursued. But the reality is that if I feel in my gut that it's the right move or the right direction, then I'm going to go there. And it's not always a logical move. And I think most people, if they're really honest about the things that have worked in their life, it has felt right.
Yep.
What does that feel like to you when it feels right? Seriously, what does that feel like?
It's very physical. It feels like something is like opening in like the heart kind of area. And it feels joyful and like an energy is pulling me towards something. That's what it feels like.
It's interesting to hear you say that too, because in the time that I've known you, I honestly feel like you are someone who, there's always room for growth, but that you seem to be someone fairly in tune with yourself.
I'm really in tune with myself, but what I'm realizing about that is part of my next wave of growth is about tuning in with the stuff that's a little less pretty, like a little more messy, and getting real with that and comfortable with that.
What does that mean?
Well, it's like the messiness is where all the good that we can't anticipate lives. And if we're being, like too perfect or too controlled or too methodical, it's only allowing for certain possibilities. So it's like if you're willing to kind of like get in there and get messy and be vulnerable and like mess up a little bit, the good.
What does that mean?
Kind
like
of
trying
rise.
Something new, stretching yourself?
Sure. It could be trying something new. But for me, it's actually, I think, a little bit more of an emotional depth that I'm reaching toward. It's being okay with being imperfect. I think that my personality has always been very, and I'm saying this not to compliment myself. I'm saying this,
go on.
Okay. But no, I'm saying it more in the sense of like how people have always reinforced me. I've always been very sort of like lovely and bright and positive, and I've always gotten so much good reinforcement for that.
I resonate with that.
Yeah. But actually, I can be kind of anxious and I can be kind of, dark on the inside, and I can be really worried about certain relationships, and I'll kind of tiptoe around that to sort of stay lovely and stay positive. But actually that's not totally the reality. So it's really in this more recent period of time that I'm sort of opening up to a more vulnerable part of myself, whether that means saying things that I think people won't like, or drawing the line with relationships that are not serving, or getting more messy and vulnerable with my most important relationships.
This is very tough to do.
So tough.
Because, and this is just my experience, but because you're treading on what may be new territory for yourself, and you're not sure-footed, and you're going to misfire sometimes, and you're going to reach too far and go, oh, that's a little too far to do that. I got to pull back next time. I'm feeling where the foul lines are. And so some people, let's say, I'm not saying you specifically, but some people may think you're being bitchy, but what you're doing is real, excuse that expression, but maybe what you're just doing is trying to find more sure-footedness for yourself. And maybe you just came out a little strong because you don't know where that it's a new garment for you in a way that you're testing out your wheels.
Yeah, totally. And I think it's within our safest relationships that we have to be kind of willing to express that and say the things that we've maybe not been saying, to just be your most authentic self. As cheesy as that can sound, it's not. It's actually not a pretty place. That's the thing that I think I'm trying to get at. The messiness and the ability to say, like, I am scared. I'm feeling all of this, or I really want to go to this deeper place, but I'm scared to, or whatever it is, like just struggling through the ability to even say it or start to name it is a real vulnerable space.
Well, also it's what you're saying about those friendships and close people that are worth it in that space.
Yeah. And they'll hold the space for you.
Well,
that,
right. Because they have to meet you there. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So you can't just, expect them. You have to do the work and then be like, this is what I'm doing. Would you like to meet me here?
Yeah.
Have you ever done NVC? Nonviolent communication?
Oh, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
I haven't actually done a training, but I've read about it and I'm definitely aware.
Yeah, I may have brought it up on the show, I think.
Maybe.
But it's really I'm taking the full course in March, but
cool.
I've done some of it in some of the coaching I do, but just essentially it's about how feelings are your roadmap to your needs. And and that's it. So it's going like, wow, I feel anxious, overwhelmed, and sad. Oh, I think I need connection, partnership, and love. Interesting. But for someone else, if they're feeling anxious, they might need self-expression. Like literally you can have the same feelings, but different needs.
Well, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about my marriage here because it's public, but I will say that exactly that dynamic is what's alive and well in my marriage. And I think that this has been one of the most potent spaces for me to understand that two adults can literally be feeling the need for connection and feeling lonely at exactly the same time in exactly the same home, but need different things to find that connection. And you could call that male or female, but you could also just call it two different human beings with different makeup. And the ability to unpack that, as you said, together without blame and in a safety zone of like, we're going to commit to kind of getting messy together. That's where the possibility for deeper closeness and more value for one another ultimately can happen. But it doesn't happen if you're kind of holding back and trying to look pretty while doing it.
This is about trust. It's all just about trust. And it sounds, again, not to focus on your marriage, but it sounds like the scenario you're talking about is that there appears to be trust between you and your husband, that you're still going to be there in the morning, that you can survive this today when it gets messy, so you can trust each other to feel your way through solving this particular situation.
Well, actually, that's what he's been assuring me. I'm the one that has a very hard time going there and trusting that.
Oh, right.
I think it might be because I'm an only child.
I'm an only child.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Hey, only
girl.
children. And we really have no great model for what it feels like to beat the shit out of someone and then like love on them a second later.
Right.
Yeah.
And siblings do that, as I now know watching my kids. But yeah, it's like it's shocking to imagine that you can be like so messy and someone will still love you the next morning.
Yeah. No, that's that concept also I understand, especially because now I'm engaged. So like I'm like, oh wow, this is a thing. Like you're not going anywhere. Oh, hey. Wow, this is awesome.
It's interesting you say that because I was just talking to someone the other day about being married, because I just got married in May myself. And people, because we were together for 9 years before we got married, and how could it feel different suddenly being married? And it was precisely that, Danielle, that idea that even though we were together, once that happened, we felt like
next level.
Well, it's like, okay, so now we're together for sure. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
well, I think it's interesting. Like we get into a discussion, of course, about like the legal contract of marriage, which like a lot of people debate about, like why we're sort of forced to abide by some sort of like state law to keep us together. And in the reality of life, that's not what keeps people together. Right. But what I think it is the spiritual connection and the fact that you now are committing to being family. I think like
Yes.
that's what you
huge.
become.
Well, a lot of that has to do also with why you
huge.
might get married. Like I know in our case, we didn't get married at all because of the legal status of it at all. We even didn't really explore what that would mean to us. We literally did it because this was something that we wanted to do in that commitment, and then we also did it legally just because. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
but I hear what you're saying. So I want to loop this back around to who you are and what you do. So these types of new initiatives for yourself that you've been undertaking, this growth, how much of that is for Randi Zinn, and how much of that is you feeling any level of, probably not the right word, but responsibility as a leader in the community that you've built to live an authentic, effective, maximally mature life in the face of all these other people, that part of what you do is you learn from them, but a lot of what you do is you share wisdom with them, either your own wisdom or the insights from others that you share conversations with. So how much of that connects to the work that you do and what you've built versus just you?
All of it. All of it. I mean, the thing is this, nothing I've done has ever been separate from what I'm doing, what I'm going through personally. I mean, I started this idea that women need to support each other as they go through a giant life transition because I was going through the life transition. It's actually a new thing. Thank you for calling me a thought leader, but it's kind of a new thing for me to even see myself as.
Because you didn't say, I'm going to be a thought leader. You just found other people. You gathered people in a virtual room, if you will, to talk together, to try to figure it all out together and support each other, right?
Yeah, I hold space. I share really openly with the hopes that others will share really openly. I believe in the power of connection between human beings to heal each other. And I believe in the power of storytelling. Yeah. And so I do all those things in one shape or another. I've never taken the stance of I am further along than anyone else. Yeah. All I think that I have are some tools that have worked. So I like to share kind of how I'm using those things, whatever that might be. And I think that I have a passion and an ability to see people and hold space for people. Yeah. So, and communicate. So all I do is do that. Now, what I know for sure is that if I'm not doing my own inner work, then I'm not going to be able to hold the space for other people. You know, so that's why, you know, for me, the work that I do, that, you know, on the walls of my home and the work that I do, let's say with a therapist or a coach, like this is all work for my own personal growth. But the personal growth is absolutely bleeding into the voice that I have in the work that I do. So it's completely intertwined.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit more about the work that you do?
Yeah, of course.
So let's talk about Beyond Mom.
Yeah. And
what exactly it is and how that is connected to a podcast, Going Beyond, yes?
Yeah.
And what you've written as well. So the different ways that you've expressed yourself and shared ideas that sort of reverberate from what you've done with Beyond Mom, yes?
Yeah.
So what is the organization or the business? What kind of work do you do? How do you monetize it? And what is the mission of it, really?
Yeah. So very much connected to your last question, the whole thing of Beyond Mom was happening and has happened in real time with my own motherhood experience. So I started writing about the motherhood identity shift when I had my son that started.
This is your first child.
Yes. This is now, you know, let's call it like 7-8 years ago. I started kind of putting that out there. That came off of being a yoga instructor where I was speaking a lot to people about life and change and pain and how we manage it. And that voice was very natural to me.
Are you still a yoga instructor now?
I mean, once you are for good, technically. And it comes up into what I do, but I don't teach on a schedule. Okay. So, you know, then I've always been an in-person person. So I was like, let's get people together. And so I started hosting events, and, these were like ticketed events and brands would be involved. But the point was always that women would come together, they would have a night out, they would dress nice. I would always have an inspiring speaker of some kind, a theme, and people always left feeling elevated. And I knew, I love the idea that like we all have a superpower. And I knew that my superpower was to create inspiration in a room. Somehow I always knew how to do that, regardless of what kind of event it was or what kind of thing it was. Then I started having retreats for moms. This was in the Hudson Valley at my upstate home. So those still go on periodically, maybe like once a quarter.
I have a friend who's a new mom. Could I send her to you?
Well, yes, of course.
Oh yeah, she'd like this.
Yeah, no, this is for all the moms for sure.
Okay.
So I started doing retreats, and the experience of what I heard women sharing so organically and so deeply, like kind of what you said, I guide them, but whoa, did I get lots of information. And at the same time, I was constantly building my network. Like I'm also a master networker. So always meeting these like power women who wanted to connect with me and talk to me. And over the course of years, I've just built this network of amazing women, particularly in New York. And I guess people kind of know me as a connector and like a person who knows everyone. And I don't know everyone, but I know a lot of people. So all of that shaped. And then like the question became, okay, so I have these events all the time. I have these retreats. I have this site. I have people writing for my site. But like, what's my output going to be? Like, what's going to be my thing that I have? And I realized that about the time that I was really kind of pondering that I was ready to write a book. And as I said earlier, I've always been a writer. So I don't know, like everyone sort of says that writing a book is really hard, and it's really hard to get a book deal. And I think it was just meant to be, and the timing was right. There was nothing hard about it.
Wow, that's so cool.
It was like very just everything synced up beautifully. So I had an idea. I started putting it together. I started drafting an outline. I kind of wrote what I thought was the whole book, and it turns out it was like actually half the book and had to just be totally reworked once other people's opinions come in. It like isn't your own anymore.
That always does it.
Yeah. But all of that happened like through my pregnancy with my second child. So that was like about 4 years ago. And I was connected pretty quickly to my agent, who, again, all the divine work happening, had just gone back to her literary agency after having a baby. And she, so she got my idea, and she just was like, I want to work with you.
Yeah.
And at the time, I mean, I definitely had the community, but I didn't have like the following per se that I have now, or like a certain clout of my brand that I feel I have now. But she believed in me, and she believed in what I wanted to say. So I wrote my book, and it was published in September 2017. It's called Going Beyond Mom: How to Activate Your Mind, Body, and Business After Baby. The after baby part was put on by the publisher, I just want to say, because to me, this book is not for just after baby. This book is for the entire postpartum experience, which is forever. Okay, did you hear that, everybody? You are always postpartum for the rest of your life. And what that means is that your body has shifted. It might look whatever, but it's not about look. It's about you have birthed children, so your body's different. Wow. Your mind has changed once you become a mother. You have likely shifted on some kind of spiritual, emotional level because you have given life into this world. So you are forever postpartum. And so this book is written for women to redefine and reactivate all the parts of themselves so that they can be productive from the most heartfelt space of who they are now. And this whole like get back to yourself, get your body back, get back to who you were. No, you're not going back. You're going forward. And that's what this book is for and is about. So for the first time after I wrote this book, these were the moments that I got to like be on TV and, have interviews, and I had a kick-ass publicist and got some like really great press. And it was for the first time that I actually had like a thing to sell. as opposed to just like come to my events. Like, no, actually like a book. And that's what's exciting about writing a book. And, anybody who knows like a book is not a moneymaker unless, you're like that 1% who have, and most people have written 1 or 2 books until they get like the book that's the successful one. And I'm happy to like be on that journey. But to have that book in your hand, it's a special moment.
Sure is.
And it's forever like a creation. And it's been amazing to share that with my kids and for them to like,
so good.
Be excited to find my book in a Barnes and Noble and like, take pictures with it. And it's very cool.
Have you thought about taking that book? I don't mean this as a suggestion. Just I'm curious if you thought about it. And either working with the same publisher, if they will have that conversation, or looking for someone else and taking the After Baby off the title, or modifying the title and basically representing that book under within a different conversation, and the communication about the book is different. So it speaks to that. It talks about what you're talking about, same content.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you imagine me, I'm picking your brain now, would you imagine me like rewriting aspects of the book to actually I think fit with where I'm at now? You
could do that, or I would think that you might do a forward and a
re-release
and an additional 2 chapters that add that extra dimension onto it, let's say. And maybe in each chapter you add on like an epilogue to each chapter, that the things you learned after you wrote this book and released it, here's where life changed and what I have to add to this part of the conversation.
It's a really good idea, Mark.
And basically,
really
you're
is
repurposing an existing book that already proved it can sell.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Actually, I've been asking the muses to come and tell me what my second book is, but maybe I just need Mark Rako.
Hey.
Doesn't everybody?
Doesn't everyone?
Have you heard of the book Boundaries?
I don't know.
It's just a book about boundaries and setting boundaries, but they have boundaries, and then they have
I haven't read it, clearly.
Obviously. No, just kidding. And then they have like boundaries with dating.
Okay.
It's in that same way, that kind of reminds me of that, where it's like, listen, I have this, and this is niche for moms, but this is also
That's interesting because you could essentially take, I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
No.
Essentially, you could take that book, and maybe it's not just presenting the original book, but using the format and the conversation you had, and it's that full title, but you take away the After Baby and you put Forever or After the Kids Leave, or
right.
or in entrepreneurialism, or
actually, like, this is a perfect segue to talk about the podcast.
Okay,
because
this is not beyond.
This is not unrelated. Okay. So around maybe, I don't remember when it was. The truth is I started this podcast and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Yeah. I've told you that story, Mark. I mean, literally, it was like I at my house. I have like my own whatever. I know.
She did the thing that's. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But Randi did the thing that's important. Whether you're doing a podcast or you're writing something, or whatever, you started. You said, "I'm not going to keep this conversation to myself." And whether it sounds perfect or not, or it looks perfect or not, I did it, and I didn't keep it to myself. And that is so important, and that's the most important stuff.
Yes, it is. Thank you for that. I kind of, from a performance standpoint, I would love to delete a handful of those episodes. But in any case, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really have a good mic. I didn't really edit anything. It was just what it was. And then when I realized that this output, this way of communicating actually really worked for me, and I enjoyed it, and I wanted it to get the attention that I think the conversations deserved, then I was like, okay, how do I do this in a way that makes it a little bit more competitive in the world? So at that point, I got the better mic and the headset, whatever I had to do, and I got an editor that edits, and I made the at the beginning, and all that stuff.
All the
all the at the beginning and the end, and and a nice logo for it, and all of those things. And then I stepped it up, basically.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You told people, hey, this is serious.
It's serious. Yeah. And what's, again, back to all those years of networking, having great guests has never been a problem. I've always had great people on the show.
Do you have just women?
Yeah, I do.
Can I come?
Of course you can.
I have a
love
lot
that.
to say.
I know.
Wow.
I know this.
I just inserted myself into
certainly
her
did.
show.
Yeah.
I just resonate so much with you. Keep
Oh,
going.
I love you back. So I have all women. I have had some men ask
Okay.
me, but it just, again, following my flow, I'm like, this is for women.
It's cool.
Yeah. And it's been evolving. It's been growing. As Mark knows, I recently had my first live audio recording
So
with an
fun.
audience, and it was amazing.
It was amazing.
I mean, the episode was so good, Mark. Like, thank you, because it wasn't just like how
I had nothing to do with the content, just Danielle. Just so
No,
it's
but-
clear.
I'm like, this
we
is
just
so
helped,
cool.
We just helped her record it. That's
Yeah,
all.
but the quality of the audio and
good.
how it all came together, and then of course the editor cutting it, like, it was so good. I don't usually kind of pat myself on the back or like feel that pride. I'm kind of like, okay, good, next. But I had a moment on the train listening to it, listening back, where I was like shedding a little tear. I was like,
Yes.
My baby.
That is awesome.
yeah. And so I'm pumped to continue doing those. Now, revenue model.
Yeah.
Let's talk real about that.
Let's talk real.
I'm not going to lie. Like, I definitely for a long time have fit into that category of the woman entrepreneur doing the heartfelt thing, but like having a hard time bringing the dollars in. And it's almost like it's a tough moment to find yourself in, because you're like, I'm doing all these great things. I'm being valued for, all this stuff, but like the dollars aren't matching up to the output. And it's been hard to like find that model where, several things click together and everything sort of feeds everything, which is what you want. And I'm finally just now kind of cracking the nut on that. And the podcast and the live podcast event has been that first real moment where the right brands are wanting to play with me, are wanting to have these conversations. Their founders want to be part of it. The products belong at my events. They want to sponsor the podcast. And I finally have this model that's starting to tick. And I'm like, yes. Now I am driving it. And what's fun too is a couple of other things are starting to float into my pan here that feel, again, the flow, feel just right, which is being approached to start mentoring people and doing mentorship groups, which guess what? I do all the time. I've just never monetized it. I just kind of do it. And I'm like, people are asking me what I do and if I do it and how I charge for it. It's time. So I'm working on now putting that together and starting to kind of sell that along with the other things that I'm putting together. So I'm excited, and all these other parts of my life, as Mark knows, I'm actually working on sunsetting some things so that I have more bandwidth to give to where my heart wants me to go.
That is
So something that kind of it may sound like I'm going to another subject, but I'm not sure that I am. Something that kind of keeps ricocheting through my brain as you're talking about all this is, this is funny people talking, and part of the show is about the nature of humor and how it intersects the things that we do.
Yeah.
I have no doubt humor has played a role for you in getting you through times and also making some of the times bearable.
Yeah.
But how do you think humor has intersected what you do in your work to make it more effective, if at all? In the building of community, in the helping someone grow, in making a media asset function better. Do you have any thoughts on that at all? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
you asked me to be interviewed, so you are putting me on the spot, Mark.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It.
he's a liar. So
Yes, and
Yes, and put me on the spot. That's what I'm here for. I am a funny person. So Mark kind of recognized that about me.
Yeah,
I
this is true.
throw in humor in a lot of things, even into the serious things. There is something funny in almost everything. And it doesn't mean that you're taking the seriousness or the spirit out of something. It's like I had I mean, I'll give it like a very serious example. I had a guest on my podcast who's a dear, dear friend of mine and asked me to come onto the show and get super vulnerable.
Oh my God. I thought
About
you were going to say super drunk. Sorry.
Nope,
I don't
not
know
drunk.
why I went there.
No.
Okay.
Super vulnerable.
Yes.
She told her true story of going through a late term abortion with a baby that was not going to survive. And it was the most emotional episode. We sat together in person, held hands, and she told the story. And it was like, it was for all women to be together in solidarity, to know they're not alone. That was the point. But I'm telling you that we threw in some jokes in there because there were some moments where it's like, the husband finds you in the heap on the floor, you're a total mess, and he's like, says the total wrong thing, and he's like, oh shit. And like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, there is something to laugh at in even the most terrible of moments. And that is why we can survive life. And so when I'm sitting with people or I'm talking with people, by no means am I taking away their pain or discrediting anything, but my God, like if we can't pull these little nuggets of humor, like it's hard to see the light. The humor is the light to get through. And so like that comes very naturally to me. And I think that's like, I make jokes all the time. I don't even think I realize it half the time, but I think it's also why people like to be around me, because even if we're talking about stuff that's tough or, you know, whatever, or you want to like fucking kill your kids, which you do, you have to laugh. And I feel like my family taught me that. Like my grandparents were married like 66 years or something when my grandfather passed almost a year ago. And I mean, they had some like phrases and some things that just showed me that you have to laugh. You know, like my grandmother used to have this thing where everyone was asking her to do everything, you know, cook this, that. And she would say, I know, I'll take a broom, I'll shove it up my ass, and I'll sweep the floors while we're at it. I mean, these were the kinds of phrases that were like, let me sweep the floor with my ass while I'm doing all the other things you're asking me to do. This is the humor that you have to throw in to stress.
I feel like that's bringing all of yourself, though.
Yeah.
You know, because in talking about very important and sensitive and deep and real and heavy topics, if we then dive into that, even like the dark comedy aspect of things, if we dive into that and don't also acknowledge the funny and the light and the thing that you're saying as coming in, I feel like we're cutting off a part of ourselves as humans. So it's like bringing those in. Like one time, one of my closest friends, she described me as a person who holds darkness and light very well at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that that's an idea of like marrying the two to come together, because that is the life experience.
Yeah, it
so
is.
I think that that's so beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, that's how I think I live very naturally. And it doesn't mean like I'm not. Of course I'm affected by things, and of course I'm not always funny, but
of course
it comes naturally for me to throw these little things in that lighten it up. Not because I'm afraid of the dark.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it's like a coping mechanism or like defense. It's actually like a part of your humanity you're bringing. Because I've seen people like deflect things and like with humor try to run away from something.
Yes.
And I hear that it actually pulls you in.
Yes.
You know,
it's a beautiful thing to see a circle of women at one of my retreats and people are sharing and they're crying, and then someone throws a hilarious story in the mix and everyone is laughing and it all goes together and it's all real.
This live event that you recently held, that you referenced.
Yeah.
I remember there were a couple moments in that because some of the discussions in that room were actually quite serious about things. It was some deep stuff going on there because it was a group of about 40 women or whatever it was out in the audience. And then I think it was like 6 women on the panel or something along those lines. Yeah. But that's exactly what happened. All of a sudden someone would say a zinger because probably they were just being real.
Yeah.
You know, and it broke everyone up, and it was wonderful. And it kind of made you feel like the ship's bow is under the water, or it's very heavy, and all of a sudden it pops above
up.
and there's some sunshine. Oh, we're okay.
Yeah.
You know, and you're right. It's about the balance. And you talked earlier about being, my words, Little Miss Sunshine, and living, allowing yourself to fall into that role as sort of a way you're perceived, and then, you know, living up to it in a way. And I think that when people are that kind of sunshiny personality, if you will allow me to characterize it that way, that often comes with a dose of humor. It isn't just, would you like a cookie?
Yeah.
It's not empty. There's,
It's
I mean,
not
well,
empty.
I'm speaking because I'm the same,
Yeah.
obviously. I mean, I think we're only children. We
Yeah.
both are inspirational people. Like, I'm resonating so much with you. And I think sometimes what you're saying is so right. It's not just like surface level.
No, it's just, it's the nature of who you are.
It's deep. Yeah.
All
I
right.
agree.
So for people who need their dose of Randi Zinn, Beyond Mom and going beyond, and everything, and your second book when it comes, and everything like that.
Which I'm going to dedicate to Mark Rako.
Oh my God, my life!
Yes.
I am telling you, my life will be complete. It will be complete. But and how ironic it will be that a book that's largely for women is dedicated to
Mark,
men.
you have a very strong feminine side, and I love that about
Thank
you.
you.
You
It's
can
the
like hang with
intuitive-
us.
Yeah. It's legit.
Yeah. At my live event, the word vagina was used,
Mhm.
and Mark was totally cool with it.
Mark was like, I'm cool.
I'm cool with the vagina.
I will say that I said to my wife, I was like, so I was just in a room of 40 women, just me. I thought it was hilarious.
awesome.
It really was hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
So,
It's like, I feel pretty honored.
yeah.
Cool.
Thank you for that. That's very nice. How
Yeah.
can people find you?
Yes, I'm all over the place in the world of social media. My Instagram is at Randi Zinn, RandiZinn. That's probably where I'm most bouncing around these days. I'm on Facebook. Beyond Mom is on Facebook. My website is beyondmom.com. My podcast, which I hope you all will listen to, is called the Going Beyond Podcast. It's everywhere podcasts are: iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, all over. And my book, which you guys heard me talk about, is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and all of those booksellers.
That is awesome. Well, you definitely put the beyond in Beyond Mom.
Oh, well, you guys put the beyond in my beyond tonight.
Oh,
Yay.
yay.
Threw a dose of beyond in my already beyondness.
Well,
Say that 10 times.
I like that
We're
we can
honored.
be beyond,
Yes.
whatever yond is, but I like it.
Beyonder.
That's
I'm
right.
excited. That's awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing so much insight into you. Thank you for sort of being human and opening up a little bit here, and for giving us some insights into what you've built and how humor intersects with it too. So we are going to go away from that for a second. When we come back in just a blink and a nod, it's going to be end of show food.
Blink nod.
Done. Right after this.
Connect with the show at Mouth Media Network or at our website, funnypeopletalking.com. And please, for the love of all that is holy, subscribe to the show and leave us a damn review and a really, really good rating on iTunes. Pretty please? Thank you.
So, Randy, it's the end of the show, sadly.
Do you know what that means?
I'm crying.
It's time.
I'm sorry.
Single tear. And we, at the end of every show, more or less, we tend to do what we call end of show food. It's a chance for us to break bread, but it's also a chance usually for our wonderful producer, Elsie, who has supplied our end of show food tonight, but can't be here with us, to, she scours the countryside. She goes to stores. She looks online. Sometimes it comes from another country. You never know what she'll show up with. It could be a snack. It could be a meat. It could be a drink. It could be anything. You never know what.
It's been a
Sometimes
lot of
it's
stuff.
amazing.
Weird stuff.
Sometimes it's weird. We've had everything from bacon flavored cotton candy
Yeah.
to space
Chocolate
themed
seltzer.
chocolate seltzer, space themed Oreos, weird jerkies, you name it, right? So what we do is we taste it, whatever the snack is, the end of show food is, and then we rate it. We rate it on our own individual
On a
scale
scale
of chickens, the number of chickens that you so your number of chickens is entirely up to you, Randy. Mine might be 482 chickens, so whatever it is out of 482. Okay, it's an individual thing.
Okay.
So
Okay, Elsie, in the spirit of you, we're going to get the food. It is a mystery to me. Mark, can you get the food? We need it. We're going to eat it, and everybody gets a bite, but you don't eat it till we're all here and we're all holding it.
okay, so
You're
our
gluten-free, right?
our snack today, thank you, Elsie, for this,
You're welcome.
is in the spirit, I believe, of Randy and yoga and taking care of yourself, yet treating yourself. It's a good balance of things,
Treat
just like we talked about.
yourself.
Okay.
Treat yourself.
So our snack is from a company called, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's VOSGES, Vosges or
Vosges.
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 And
Like
it is,
Place des Vosges in Paris.
it is
Place des Vosges.
45% dark milk cocoa.
Cacao.
Mint
Cacao.
Cacao.
We know how to say things on this side of the room. Cocoa.
It is mint matcha.
That's pronounced matcha, Mark. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm being.
Where are you from?
I'm being
from
a
Canasi.
sad- No, I'm
Matcha?
I'm from
Grade
Southern
A matcha and
Matcha.
milk
Matcha.
in 45% dark milk chocolate.
Dark
Okay.
and milk?
I'm just saying.
I am V confused.
dark milk.
And super excited because
I'm
all
kind
cool,
of
right?
excited about it.
Yes,
Because I
I know.
actually
It's
happen to
mint.
love chocolate and mint together.
But it's
Well,
mint
this is your
matcha,
opportunity,
so that's
so-
like the green tea
The green
and the
tea
mint.
matcha, yeah.
So I am gonna come.
In Elsie fashion, Mark is now coming around to deliver. He's not touching it with his own fingers.
And he's being very clean and
He's being very
hypoallergenic.
I'm gonna
Hypoallergenic?
take-
No, hygienic.
hypo out. Ooh, I got a big chunk. I'm so excited. Okay, I'm
Me
gonna
too.
smell. Okay, it
It
smells
smells really good.
minty.
So in,
and dark chocolatey. I don't think there's any milk chocolate
Is there
in
milk?
this, Mark.
Does it say milk?
I
says
believe there's
dark.
milk in it. Yeah.
Really?
Milk?
It is, however, gluten free, GMO free, and fair trade certified ingredients.
Good,
which
then I
is
can
always
eat
nice.
it.
So there you
Okay,
go.
ready?
Right. So ready.
Everybody
1, 2,
eat
3,
your
go.
food, go.
Now I'll tell you, I'm not generally a matcha fan,
Oh,
but mint I like.
It's honestly not overwhelmingly matcha.
oh wow.
It's interesting.
Ooh,
Matcha can taste like grass.
I like it though.
I like it.
I'm
but
a weird grass girl.
Okay, I'm
Not like
sensing
that. Oh wow, this is rich.
there's I feel the mint flavor is very subtle.
I'm getting more mint, less matcha.
I could go for more mint, but I don't taste the matcha.
I don't taste the chocolate at all. Like it
Whoa.
doesn't. I don't sense chocolate. I mean, I
Really?
know it's chocolate, but I'm not getting a chocolate taste that I would normally expect.
I
you
want
guys-
more mint.
You know what this reminds me of?
Meltaways?
It's like a weak milk, a weak
Girl Scout
minty milk
cookies? No,
chocolate.
thin mints. Those are thin mints. What?
It's like a weak minty hot cocoa. To me.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is a little weak.
It's a little weak.
Like weak. Yeah, like. But it's lovely.
May I look at the
Yeah,
the package?
oh, and wait, before you do, can you Elsie often likes to read interesting information
read
off
it.
of the back, see if there's anything on there that
There is.
but you have to do it in Elsie's voice though.
Since 1998, Vosges.
Vosges.
I'm Elsie. This is how she'd say it. Vosges.
No, I believe Elsie would pronounce it correctly.
Chocolat has been fusing spices, nuts, roots, herbs, and liqueurs from around the world.
What the hell was that?
Premium chocolate. A pioneer of the exotic chocolate movement.
It's also going through
Found it.
puberty.
Founder Katrina Markov travels the world
Okay,
in
that's good.
search of the best-in-class ingredients.
Very good.
At the pinnacle of their taste profile through her chocolate creations, she seeks to harness the power of storytelling. Oh, she's like you. Through the medium of chocolate and open minds, spirits, and palates to new ideas.
There you go. Thank
That
you,
was
Elsie
not-
2.0.
The wild.
So okay,
Wow,
so
this
now
is
what we do is
very
we
good.
rate our snack.
Do you not like it?
I'm not sure Randy's enjoying this fully. Her face,
Well, I ate
Gives
all
it
of
away.
it.
yes, that might have been just
Oh, wait, I
Courtesy.
didn't get to look at the one thing I wanted.
Politeness.
No, I like it.
Would you care for more?
No.
Yeah, it
Okay.
says dark
That's okay.
milk
Okay.
chocolate.
So
What
all
is
right,
that?
I don't know.
So on a scale of chickens, whatever your scale may be, how would you rate it honestly?
Out of 100 chickens,
Okay.
I'd give it 50 chickens because I'd call it menza menza. Like you can tell the chocolate is good quality chocolate. You can taste the mint,
Mm-hmm.
but I want more mint.
Mhm.
I don't taste the matcha. And as you said, the chocolate is kind of like a little bit mild, but I'm not really
Oh, wow.
mad at that. So it's like one of those things where I could live with it. I could live without it.
Mm-hmm.
Menza menza.
For me, I felt like the amount of it that I had was the maximum amount I really want to have of it. Like as if someone gave me a mint like on my
Yeah.
pillow, but that's all I wanted of it. I
Right,
just
right.
tasted it.
That's what that
It
meant.
is sort of
And-
like those.
yeah,
mints. Yeah.
I mean, and I didn't particularly enjoy it, but I didn't just outright hate it. So it just
Right.
isn't my style because I'm not a big matcha fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I give it 112
Okay.
out of 246.
Whoa.
Because it just doesn't. There's nothing impressive about it to me.
Oh,
but it,
my God.
But it also didn't insult me. That's the menza thing.
This
so.
is sad.
And what about you? Was this a winner for
I
you?
don't know. I kind of.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go very simple. I'm going to go 87 out of 100.
And deductions
plus.
are for what?
I didn't really get as much matcha as I wanted, but I feel like matcha green tea was one of the main ingredients. It was the second ingredient. So maybe I'm going to stay awake tonight, you know?
So for you, it was a winner.
It's
For me
caffeine.
and Randy, the
like half and
matcha
half.
was menza.
Can I tell you something else? I haven't had a lot of. I've been off sugar for 3 weeks till
Me
my
too.
movie
I've
happened.
been off sugar too.
So the fact that I just ate that was like a treat of a lifetime.
yeah. I
So-
feel you.
You know?
I
Okay.
understand. It's like mediocre chicken when you are super hungry and you'll
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
those chicken fingers were the best, right?
Yeah, or rated on a scale of chicken.
That's true.
The chicken on the chicken.
All right. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Elsie.
Yes, thank you, Elsie. Though still interesting, a very interesting choice. You never know what she's going to come up with. So
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, everybody. That marks the end of this very fun episode. I can't thank you, Randy, enough for taking time out of your evening to join us. It was a lot of fun. Great to hear more of your story and just to get to see the lighter side of you a little bit. So
Aw,
thank you.
guys. I'm so happy I got to be here with you.
Yay.
All right, that is it for this episode of Funny People Talking. Elsie, we miss you and hopefully see you very soon. And until next time, for Miss Danielle Beckman.
Farewell, friends.
That's farewell. I'm Mark Rako. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Oh, and one more thing. Stay funny.
That's it? That's the end of the show? Boy, oh boy, what a crock. This was Funny People Talking. Copyright 2019. No portion of the content may be reproduced or published without the strict written permission of the producers. Connect with our show at Mouth Media Network or at our website, funnypeopletalking.com. I'm your announcer, Peter Coleman. Thanks for listening.
This is Mouth Media Network. Amplify and connect.